Is it okay? I just was waiting because this is, yeah, okay.
I
Hey,
don't remember
yeah,
the story exactly,
please go ahead. Yeah,
but it's about a guy who's like adrift in the ocean, like he's
okay.
like on a raft, like lost in the middle of the ocean, and there's like a little boat that comes by and tries to pick him up, and he says, "No, I'm waiting for God. Like God will take care of me. Like don't worry about it." And then like this bigger ship comes by to pick him up. He says, "No, God will take care of me. I'm I'm not going to get on. I trust completely in God." And then like a helicopter comes by to pick him up out of the water, and he says, "No, I trust in God." And after all that happens, like this big storm comes, and his raft gets washed away, and he ends up drowning. He goes up to heaven, and he's like, "God, I had complete faith in you. You let me down. Like, where were you?" He's like, "I sent you two boats. I sent you a helicopter, and you kept ignoring me the whole time. Like, it's it was me the whole time. So you got to be careful too."
Okay. Uh, awesome, William. Thanks for that, initial stage setting. So looks like we are leaning towards trust now. That is going
Mm-hmm.
to be our focus. Okay. See now, like any other average person in this world, I believe I exist. I also believe that if I don't work hard and make money and save money, I'll be homeless, which is a scary situation, or I might die out of hunger without food. And this I've seen across the globe over thousands of years, right? Like people die out of hunger, like there are statistics, like, thousands of people are dying out of hunger every day. And I think just yesterday morning there was a huge earthquake in Turkey where
Yes.
thousands of people died.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I look into this, then it comes to my mind, okay, then I should act. I should not, like, leave it to fate, or whatever controls this. I should act, I should prepare, save money, and so, like, I should work hard and protect myself is what I believe. So how do you, like, reconcile these two things, like, and also Osho says many times, only because of this principle whole of India is poor, because nobody works. You believe God will take
Yeah.
care of you and
Yeah.
God will protect you.
I think I've heard him say that. Yeah, I've heard him say that. Yeah.
Where to trust and not to act, where to act, or can you please, like, have throw some light on this?
Yeah, you just have to come to understand that you're not in control. Like whether you're making whether you're making the conscious decision to decide something, there's something greater than you that's actually moving you. So it's not actually your decision. Like the universe is moving on its own. So whether you decide to do something or not to decide to do something, it's not actually your decision anyway. So that's why you actually end up having trust. And the more trust that you have, the less obstacles you're creating with your own mind because you're being moved in the direction that you're meant to be moved in.
Okay, so if you say the universe is running the show, does it have a purpose of or an intention which I can know so that I can be in sync with that purpose?
No, there's no purpose. Any purpose that you can think of is something that you're creating within,
The
call it like
individual.
the individual or the illusory world. And to know the meaning of something that's beyond this world that's creating it, like you can't know it.
See, if you say so, okay, no, this is a pin's cap, right? When I drop it, it surely falls down.
Mm-hmm. It only falls down because the universe is as it is.
But then, even if I drop this million times, then the universe, like drops it million times. I mean, universe doesn't decide, okay, on 5,000th time, I will not drop this, I will make it float, right?
It could happen because you don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the universe. Like if the sun has some type of catastrophic explosion where it pushes the sun in a direction
Hmm.
that it's not meant to be in, and it messes up the orbit of the Earth, it could mess up like gravity, and it could change that fact. We don't know.
It could happen. Okay. Okay. So at least see when we are, but we are extrapolating in the sense, um, there's clocks, and then human have record that at least from 5,000 years, or yeah, 5,000 years we know. And then even people remember like Buddha's enlightenment, which happened like 2,600 years ago. But they say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is the full moon day where Buddha got enlightenment at this location, right? So, see, at least the earth rotates precisely, right? At least from the past 5,000 years. So there is this thing called repeatability. Sunrises, sunsets, sunrises, sunsets, repeatable, and seasons, repeatable and predictable. I think that is the key. I mean, exceptions can happen, earthquakes can happen,
I mean, you say
yeah,
seasons happen too, but there was also like an ice age too at some point in time.
correct. Yes, every 10,000 years
Right.
ice age happens. But
Right.
then, yes, that is, but that also people predicted every 10,000 years, right? Ice age happened at least for like thousands of times. So, okay, see, we predict and things happen very, very close to that thing. It may not be exactly that, but it is very close. So, if you say that this mind is illusory and universe is running the show, then nothing should be predictable. And my problem is this predictability gives the confidence to the illusory mind that yes,
But
this
why
is, yeah,
why don't you think that the universe can have some type of cyclical movement,
yeah.
and it's controlling it?
Okay, if something is precisely cyclical, whether somebody controls or not is immaterial, because I'm living in this cyclical things, and I can predict for my survival. So
Yeah, but your whole what's your whole theory about like prediction? Like, what's the point?
if I can predict, it means that I exist.
Like, can you predict what your next thought is going to be?
May not be thought, but
But that's what your decisions come from, your thoughts.
okay. See, there also I'll give you an exception. I can keep an alarm for 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and I can predict 99.999% because I'll put charge also to this phone. 99.999% I'm sure that this alarm is going to ring, and I'm going to, and 99.9% sure I'm going to wake up. So it's
But why
predictable.
why do you know that it's you that's doing it and it's not the universe? Why are you taking ownership of that action?
So that is also universe doing it.
When an infant is born and an infant
Yeah.
moves around, it's just moving. There's no infant making a decision to do anything. There's no mind making decisions. It's just moving.
See,
It's not thinking about, hey, am I going to roll over? Or hey, am I going to cry in my crib?
that is purely a reptilian mammalian instinct. And, like like there is like billions of birds and animals and reptiles and fishes. I mean, they have instinct for
But
survival.
where's that coming from? Where's that originating from?
See, there is biological and scientific reasons. They say there's a single cell replicates and then it happens, right?
Yeah, but where is that coming from?
Oh, then you're trying to say that universal power is what is
The root,
running this show.
the root of everything.
Okay, then let us start with this thing.
Like
Whatever.
Alan Watts talks about the
Yeah,
Big Bang, and he said
yeah,
you're just the furthest most point on the Big Bang, just it's continuing to expand.
yeah.
And so how are you making an independent decision if you're part of the Big Bang? Still, the universe is still expanding from that
Yeah.
initial from that initial point, from that initial point of creation. When did you take ownership over something? And you took it out of the hands of the universe that was creating all of this. How do you separate yourself from it?
No, no, no. William, see that, okay, that for me, this thread is unhelpful because, see, if you look at an atomic level, obviously, I there's no difference between like, this atom here and this atom here, right? At an atomic level, it's all one. Or eh, there's no difference between a carbon atom here and a carbon atom here. There's no difference. So, but that is an unhelpful thread of logic. So what? This is a carbon atom, this is a carbon atom. So what? I have my problem.
So
I'm hungry.
your individual
Yeah,
question is also irrelevant. Like to talk about the individual, what's the point? If you're not the individual, you're making the assumption that you are, as
yeah.
opposed to discounting the fact that there's just the universe because it's not your problem. But if you actually knew yourself as the universe, then the idea of the individual would not be a problem.
Would not be a
Your your
problem.
your logic is creating the problem because you're making the assumption that you're the owner of the body, as
Right,
opposed to
right.
the owner of the universe. So you can't have it one way and not the other way. You can't discount the universe because that's not you, because you're making the assumption that this body is who you are. Your
Hmm.
mind is making the assumption that this is who I am, as opposed to taking the standpoint that the universe is who I am, which is the way that I see it.
Okay, so then this Jay's mind has to deliberately work, try to see from the other point of view
Yes.
initially. Okay,
I mean,
okay.
at some point you have to see that you can't exist without the rest of the universe. Like the tree is as much you as the body. The sun is as much you as the body. Like you don't exist in a vacuum. That's why I say you're not making any personal decisions.
Y- Okay, I mean, this is Buddha's concept of dependent co-arising,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, this happens because
Mm-hmm.
of this, and this happened because of this.
Yeah.
So
It's
this
like
net, this would, yeah,
it's Indra's net. The Indra's net where
yeah.
everything contains the rest of the universe. Like even an atom contains the rest of the universe outside of itself.
Okay, I finally remembered. Can you please elaborate Indra's net?
Yeah, it's basically saying that everything within the universe is contained within each individual. Like if you divide something into a part, then that part contains the whole that's outside of it. Because that part can't be the way that it is without the rest
Hmm.
of the universe being as it is. That's why I say
Okay,
you can't be here as you without the entire universe being exactly the way that it
okay,
is.
okay.
So
Um,
how can you say that you're making a separate decision?
sure, thank you. Okay, so if you see my screen here, um, this is one of the image I drew based on our discussion last week. So there is there's like one universal consciousness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which surrounds everything, and then somehow. there is a projection of the individual happening, which is inside thought in the mental faculty, and there is other people, and there is lots of other things, other objects and stuff, but there also this one universal consciousness,
Right.
right? Okay, so now what you're saying is we somehow this projection has started for whatever reason, like J's projection, and this is William's projection, right? Somehow in that one universal consciousness, this and lots of objects and earth, everything somehow is being projected, and this is always here now, and this is simultaneous. And for from this universal one universal consciousness, there's only, I mean, there's no time. It is not in
Right.
time. I mean, we can say
Mm-hmm.
here now or no time, undefinable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So somehow you, like, just for reference, I'll put this is William, and this is J. Okay. So somehow in this universe, there's lots of body, and there is one human body, William, and somehow because of a series of events, you actually realize that always you are this, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this human mind of William somehow recognized that actually you are that one universal consciousness, and then J is also actually created in this one universal consciousness, and then but J also has got a potential to to know in reality that actually J is also a creation of this one universal consciousness, right? Is this
Yes.
correct? Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
now, William, when you are born and grew up and, like, married and work and all those things, like J and 8 billion other people, you also thought you are a separate individual, but then somehow it dawned upon you, or you realized that actually that universal consciousness is what is running this William's mind, body, and whatever William sees, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Now William sees this thing, and Jay also sees the same physical world, right? Because if there's a table between you and me physically, if I'm in your location, that table is created and kept and run and, like, managed and give all its quality by that one universal consciousness. Correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. This brings a huge clarity for me. Okay, so but this one universal consciousness is what creates the table also, and William's thought also, and Jay thought also, and then uh, and that one universal consciousness also, like, gives the physical characteristics of physical objects, and this is what decides what next thought William has to get, what next thought Jay has to get. It decides and runs it, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, because you don't know what your next thought's going to be. You don't think, I'm going to think this thought next. So you're not in
Okay.
control. Like you can't control what comes into your mind.
Okay. But I also keep hearing from J. Krishnamurti and many other people, thoughts are also like objects, like
Yeah, so, like a
the
subtle object.
subtle object, and
Mm-hmm.
they only appear because of a brain and out of memory. Is that a correct statement? Sorry, this is not a JK statement. This is my personal question to you. All these
Yeah,
thoughts,
the
yeah,
brain is like the factory.
storehouse. Sorry?
Yeah, yeah, the factory or the storehouse.
So brain, but brain then is a physical object, 100%.
Yeah,
Okay, so from physical object, this subtle object keep appearing, right?
And the critical part is like, what is it appearing to? Like that's what we talked about last call.
Oh, what it is appearing to is that consciousness, or because of that, uh, it can physically appear, but then only because of that consciousness, it gets life or it gets some reality.
Yes, it
Ah,
has to appear.
life.
It
Hmm.
has to appear to something. Everything is appearing to something.
And that's some, but you know what? Now this is becoming like, recursive, cyclical. Okay, if you are saying it is appearing to, okay, wait. See, the universe, that one wholeness only created this objective world, and in this objective only evolved to become this subtle thing called a brain, and from this brain only thought comes, and till now it's all objective, and whatever this thought appears, that is seen by consciousness, you're saying,
Hmm.
but it's also created by consciousness in a very roundabout way. So it took six and
Yes.
a half billion dollars, sorry, 6.5 billion years to create all these things over time, and it is always ever seeing it,
Yeah, I was watching the whole process.
always ever, and not only it is watching, it is what gives life every
Yes.
instant of everything.
Hmm. Yeah, and
Wow.
that's why I also say that everything is dying into the moment because there is no past. There's only the now.
From the conscious point of view,
Yeah, from the conscious point of view.
but from the individual point of view, there is yesterday and there is tomorrow.
Yeah, because you're in time. The individual's in time. The mind is in time, but the awareness is beyond time.
Okay. Now, how does, okay, see now, Williams' thought process, I agree it happens. The one universal consciousness is running this show, this thought process. How can Williams' thinking even recognize that or even recall, okay, yesterday I understood that I was that one universal consciousness, but today I'm William and I have to pay my bills.
It's just the knowing that the universe is doing it. Like I don't have to decide that William's doing it. The universe is paying the bill. Like you're making the assumption that if the individual's not there, that nothing can happen.
Yeah, yeah,
But things happen anyway. You know,
yeah,
a tree grows, like a flower blooms.
yeah. No, even if the all 8 billion people vanish in this earth, still, actually, nature will happily run. I mean, the earth will
Yeah,
be more beautiful.
yeah, like a tree. You can say a tree is treeing, and a person is like peopling. It's just doing whatever it is. And there's really not even a separate person anyway. Like I said, it's you can't have a person without the rest of the environment.
Mm,
You can't
okay.
cut yourself off from
Mm,
everything else. And even if you have the idea that you are an individual, like the individual is just it's it's a summation of what the rest of society has projected upon you. Like you are as you are because the rest of society is as it is.
okay. You know what? If you say a tree is treeing, right? Okay, let's even so. You know what? Okay, now there is. I have this question I have from many years. Tree is treeing, humans are humaning or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are what is, right? Why? And then as an individual or as a common man thinking I'm an individual, there is pain and pleasure and bliss and happiness and lots of mixed emotions, right? Now, why this universal consciousness, they say the quality of this thing is ananda, bliss. Why the quality of this one universal consciousness is not anger, is sorrow, is tears?
I mean, that's another one of those questions, like what is God? Like, why is God the way it is? It's another one of those questions that the mind likes to play with.
No, no. But
Yeah. How could I answer that when that bliss is coming from beyond the experiencing?
okay, but yes, I agree with that. But then let me ask you, as I mean, is it your personal experience that uh, this consciousness is one of the characteristic is bliss?
It's not my personal
I
experience.
see. Okay, I
Bliss
mean, it's
is
not William's experience, but then
yeah.
when William is that
When
consciousness,
William's not there, then the bliss is there.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's your that William can, but then William cannot say that.
Yeah, there is no William to say it. It's just the bliss. The bliss is there.
Oh, is
I
it?
mean,
Who is
yes,
saying? So then, oh, so then William now William can make this statement. Yeah, the universal consciousness is one of the characteristics is bliss because that universal consciousness is talking
yes.
through William's
Pers-
mind, a
persona, yeah,
persona
persona,
to Jay's persona.
yes.
Oh,
But
wow.
there's the knowingness behind me that the persona is just it's just a mask of the universal consciousness, as opposed to thinking that I'm the person.
Okay. So you are established in that one universal consciousness by default, but then when Jay asks this William's mind, then that universal consciousness becomes William and then it responds using
It
words.
it doesn't have to become William. It's just whatever is whatever's arising out of the consciousness. It's not like there's an intermediary where it has to go to William first and then it comes out. It's just coming out.
Oh, it is okay. So the universal consciousness is also existing as William at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, this is thanks. This brings a good
Yeah, and
clarity to
it's existing as you at the same
at
time.
the same
There,
time.
yeah, even the idea that I think that I am Jay is the universal consciousness having that thought, and it's watching itself have that thought.
But never ever interfering.
Yeah, not interfering, just observing. It's observing the manifest the way that it's moving. It's just a simple idea that you're having a thought that you're there as an individual. That's the only difference. There's no other difference.
But that is well ingrained in this mental circuitry.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a bit of time to unwind the
Awesome.
habit. It's just a habit.
Okay. I also want to ask you this next question here. Now, one of the characteristics of uh, I mean the Advaita people I keep hearing, I mean also with Nisarata Maharaj, they say that whatever that one universal consciousness is love. I mean, it is non-objective, let us say loveness. I don't know if this word even exists. It is loveness, is what I keep hearing. Is it also so?
Yeah, you have a love for everything. There's just a
Mm.
feeling, there's a sense of love because you know that you're all of everything that's appearing is you. There's
Ah,
nothing that there's nothing
okay.
that's separate from you.
But no attachment.
Yeah, no attachment.
Even if this this dies, if this dies, this dies. It is acceptance.
Yeah, because you know you're beyond it. Like Nisargadatta says, he says, like, I've never seen anyone, nobody's ever seen me. I'm beyond all of this, forever untouched by anything.
Because he's speaking from that one universal consciousness.
Yeah, and
Um,
he knows that that's what he is. And that's where you have that sense of love because you're the creator of everything. Like it's your creation. How could you not love it?
okay. You know what? You said that one universal conscious knows that it is what created and running this show and running this show and running this universal universe and the earth and everything, right? It
Mm-hmm.
knows, but it has nothing to do with memory because we, the common man, we were speaking about knowingness. And in Advaita circle, they keep saying, uh, you know anything only because of, I mean, we know many, many things, but all the knowing happening happens because of that knowingness.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the characteristic of this one universal consciousness is that it is that knowingness.
Yeah,
Only because of that, yeah.
to know it is to be it.
Oh, I should share my screen. Sorry, to know something, you should be that thing.
For the universal consciousness. It can't be a knowing of the mind. You have to be it. Because if the mind tries to know it, then it
Yeah,
can't because it's caught within that cycle of like individual thinking of the mind within the experiencing. So something within the experiencing can't look beyond the experience. Like you think of yourself as just having an experience. You're just here
yeah,
experiencing this world. Like this is the tangible world that I live in. But
yeah.
I don't see it that way. I see myself as beyond all of this. And I'm just witnessing everything that's moving, including the idea of myself here. So whatever is within the experiencing can't look back out of the experiencing to find the consciousness. The consciousness has to know itself. And the only way you come to know yourself is to relax out of the idea that you're actually here having an experience. And then something arises from within you, and you know yourself to be that.
I'm sorry, I have to. Uh, can you please elaborate, William? I'm nowhere understanding this
Yeah,
thing.
but it's just
Yeah,
the very idea of you trying to listen and understand and figure it out, like with your
yeah,
mind,
yeah.
keeps you caught within the idea that there's something here for you to understand. And if you understand it well enough, then you're going to figure it out, and then it'll come to you. But the whole idea that it'll come to you keeps you lost within the experiencing.
Um. Okay. See, my struggle is not that this individual mind can know. Actually, um, that is not. That's not why I'm trying to ask. It's not that,
Okay.
okay. Uh, it's okay. J might not even be know it or whatever. That's not my problem. Yours, the one universal consciousness is knowingness. It is what makes the knowing possible, is what they say, right? Only
Yeah.
because of that one universal consciousness, knowing can happen,
Now
right?
you're saying knowing in terms of like knowing something or knowing the consciousness, like knowing words or like knowledge.
No, not knowledge, not knowledge, not.
Okay.
Uh, you know what? Okay, let me rephrase my question. Let me ask you my question from this point of view. Um, the in Jay's human mind, Jay can know anything it is only because of that one universal consciousness. You know, they say this chit jada granthi, like objectiveness and this consciousness, somewhere they're like mixed. Like there is a, see, everything else, the Big Bang, physical universe, human brain, these are all objects. But somewhere this magic of knowingness happens. And it is only because of this one universal consciousness. Is this correct
Right.
statement?
Yeah.
Okay. So there is objectiveness, and then this knowingness happens because of this universal consciousness. Because mm, anything you know or we can know is because of that consciousness, is what people say. Advaita people say. Can you please elaborate, like, how does only this universal consciousness have this unique capability of it can know, or it is knowingness?
Well, because anything that can be known is coming from it.
The physical universe, you mean?
Yeah, everything, anything, anything that is perceivable or conceivable is known. It's witnessed by that.
Okay.
So it is the knowingness of everything.
Let me, it knows. But then the question of what is knowing itself is questionable. Because, see, when we press in a calculator 2 into 2, it says 4. But it doesn't know what is 2, it doesn't know what is 4. But it gives an answer. So, does the calculator know mathematics? So, the whole definitions of um,
Yeah, but that's the whole point. Is what knows that? Like, it's the consciousness. Like, what knows I am J?
I mean, this mind.
Now, the mind is I am J. The mind produces I am J.
Okay.
What knows that? Can't be I am J. Can't be the concept.
So
The mind is
something has to know.
the mind is the factory. The mind is producing the thought I am J.
Yeah.
The brain is producing I am J.
Okay.
What knows that? It can't be the brain. The brain is just producing the thought.
Okay. And then the decision maker is also the brain, like the mind. Because, like, should I have coffee or tea? Then the question appears in the brain, or the mind manufactures it, and somebody has to decide it. Then the decision maker is also the mind, brain.
It's the consciousness.
The decision maker is consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Everything is consciousness.
Yeah. But then if you say brain manufactures thoughts, then the decision also happens in the brain or the thought only, right?
But what's observing the decision?
Fine.
What
See, somebody's,
what knows that a decision has been made?
so that can know that I'm, so the universe knows that I have decided to drink coffee.
It's the universe's decision.
So the universe has decided from Jay's mind or William's mind.
Yeah, just think about, like, go to the basic root. Like, what is a concept? You know, a concept is a concept.
Yeah.
The individual is a collection of concepts. Like, you have your name, you know, your religion,
Yeah.
your family, whatever, all these facts you know about yourself, they're all concepts.
Right.
A concept cannot know itself.
It's all recorded in the brain and stored as memories.
If the brain is just producing those things, the brain doesn't know them.
Okay.
Something has to know. The brain is producing concepts. Here's all these concepts. I'm throwing you concepts. something is witnessing them arising.
Okay, so then let us go to this image here, our older image. This is what we say, and this is human brain, the mental faculty where these thoughts are produced. Now, if this thought is produced and based on this mechanism, it keeps on running, then this universal consciousness sees this, and it sees my decision. I mean, this J's decision also. That I
Yeah,
can't comprehend. What does it even mean? I mean, it sees
it,
my decision. I mean, Jay's decision.
it sees the brain producing a decision, and it's the witness to it. And
Okay.
the decision is an automated process.
Decision is a mechanical automated process.
Based on prior conditioning meeting the present moment.
Prayer conditioning. Beautiful. Yes, that decision is also
Memory.
yeah.
Yeah,
So memory and based on the emotion, right? If I drink coffee or if I drink water, if I get a thought, right, I can drink beer or wine or whatever, right? There is so much choice.
right.
I have some free time. I can drink any of this thing, water, juice, coffee, tea. There's so much choices. And then based on the emotion and precondition. See, if I never drank alcohol, it will not even come to my mind that I should drink alcohol, for example.
Yeah,
Or if I never drank coffee, tea, if I'm every day evening, if I'm drinking alcohol, then my mind will produce a thought, hey, let's drink alcohol. And then I'll choose that, right?
yeah, and it's all based on something that already happened. So you're not making the decision at the current moment. It's more like, I know you're like an IT guy. It's more of like
Yeah.
you have a database, and whatever like that database is like registering as
Yeah,
this is the condition that I'm pulling up from the database, and it's meeting some other factor that's in the current moment, and then a decision is made based off of that.
recording, previous recording,
Yeah,
data.
yeah. So how is that you making a decision? It's just prior conditions meeting current conditions, and they come together, and then a decision is made.
Yeah, and the universal consciousness is just watching that
Yeah, and it's also doing it.
because it's everything.
Uh, how could you be separate from like everything that's happened to you in your prior like existence? It's the universe. But we try to like cherry pick our
Yeah,
identity as just these, these are the only things that happen to me, that I'm making my decision based off of these things.
yeah.
But it's
I. Hmm.
but it's the entire universe that created everything to get you to that point in time. Like we just leave out the rest of, all the other conditions that had to have been there for you to even hold those memories within your mind. Like you forget about all the people that were involved in actually getting to the situation that made you actually have an experience, and we just hold on to, hey, I had that experience, and we forget about everything else that was involved. I mean, even this conversation that we're having today, like how
Yeah,
many different people are involved in the
yeah,
network,
yeah, yeah.
the world, but we think we're having a conversation. We just discount everything else.
Yeah,
And like even like I'm thinking of you there in Canada, like with it being so cold. Like
yeah,
you're as much your house as you are yourself. Like without your house there, you're not alive.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can't separate yourself even from your house.
Hmm.
It's as much you as you are you at this
Yeah.
point in time.
E-
And that's what
Especially
you start seeing. You start seeing everything. It's like so interconnected. Like how could you be separate from anything?
okay. At least one thing is very clear for me that this mind is a purely mechanical process. and then it only decides. I mean, oh, okay. See, there's a mental world. In my
Mhm.
mind, I've created a representational world based on whatever the knowledge I have. If there's a country Z which I don't know, then it is non-existent for me, for example, right?
Correct. Yep.
So in this evolution and whatever with my 40 plus years of life, every single day as I grew up, I've created a mental world which is a shadow of this physical external world. But then for this mind, whatever mind shows only is real. Actually, this goes to the other thread of discussion where the physical world, I mean, the reality of the physical world can never be ascertained, can never be proven or validated, um, because the mind should be there to see it or
Hmm.
to do it right. So that is another thread of so the physical reality is not a reality, right?
Yeah, it's a projection.
The physical reality is a projection of the consciousness. Actually, that is not a
Mm.
problem. The mind projects them again. That is the problem.
Yeah, the mind labels everything, divides everything. Mm.
Yeah, and then imagines everything.
Yeah.
Imagines, right? Because our whole life is, see, the physical world is created by consciousness, and this brain is created by consciousness in evolution. But in the brain, this mind imagines another world, right?
Yes.
But this mind imagined world is a approximate representation of this physical external world, right?
Yeah. Say that.
But there's
And
no reality for the physical world.
yeah, because everybody's projecting their own world. So how can if there's 8 billion projections, how could
Like
any,
I would prefer to use the word imagining, because projection means, like, you are projecting outside, is what I think of, right?
oh, when you're looking from the standpoint of the pure consciousness, it's a
Yeah.
projection. It's projecting,
The so-called physical universe, which mind thinks there's a physical universe, is a projection.
yeah, of the pure consciousness.
Okay, yeah, yeah. See, that I agree. I mean, that I can, um, what is it? Take into consideration that, yeah, this one universal consciousness somehow projects this physical universe. But this is a thought, which is this imagining, mind imagining that the mind is imagining, look, there might be something called consciousness. Maybe it is projecting this physical world. This is a statement or label or an imagination in Jay's mind, right? Even
Yeah,
though this Jay's mind might be created and might be run by this universal consciousness, but Jay's mind can never know because it can only imagine.
correct. It's part of the projection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the mind,
That's the,
brain, it's,
like,
yeah,
that's the thing you have to see is like you yourself are a projection within the projection. Like that's kind of, you have to see yourself as part of the projection. It's not you projecting it. Like sometimes we think of the individual as projecting this world,
yeah,
but the individual is part of the projection.
from that one universal consciousness.
Yeah, you have to like take a step back away from yourself and see that even myself is a projection. Like it's not me projecting it. It's not my mind projecting it. It's the universal mind projecting me. And the separate mind within me is just part of the projection.
Right. But this separate mind can imagine
Mm-hmm.
consciousness, a world and a universe and whatever. Actually,
Yeah, that's why people will be like, I intellectually understand it. Like,
Yeah.
you hear that a lot. Like, intellectually, I get it.
Right. But
But that's
yeah.
where you have to let go of the idea that
Mm,
you're having any type of experience whatsoever. Like, you're not
mm.
here as this, you're here as that.
But William, because his mind can project, right? Sorry, not imagine. I will prefer to use the word mind can imagine anything, right? See, mind takes a piece of paper and prints something and imagines this is money, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And give me a second. Let me see if I can get my wallet here somewhere. Yeah. Okay. So now, uh, this piece of paper or plastic is created by the universe and is got a physicality. Okay. That's a physical reality for this paper. But now this mind thinks or creates, well, like, takes some ink which is created by the universal consciousness and prints here, and then this mind takes this piece of paper and then it goes to somebody else, and if I'm hungry, I give this um this mind created thing, or can I say this, there's a shared fiction. I give this and he gives me banana and then I eat, and my body hunger is gone. So this
Yeah.
thing is a shared fiction. This is created by Jay's mind and agreed with William's mind. If you are, like, a vegetable vendor, I give this and you give me fruits, which physically makes me survive, right? So this two human beings or 8 billion human beings have got this shared fiction of something called money. Money exists only in human minds. Otherwise, like, physical paper only exists, or plastic.
Yeah. It's just paper.
So this shared fiction of idea of money and currency exists only in human minds.
You could say the societal mind. It's one mind.
S- But it is not
It's
one,
really,
right?
there really is only one mind because each mind is an interplay off of the other.
Yeah.
It's conscious. It's a conscious mind, consciousness. There's one mind.
No, no, but consciousness is different from, but then see, there's,
The awareness
yeah,
that is watching every mind is the same awareness. It's appearing to the same
yes,
awareness.
I
So
agree.
it's one mind because it's all appearing within one awareness.
Yeah, no, no, I'm seeing this like there's those Russian dolls, like, one doll inside the another doll, and
Mm-hmm.
a smaller
Yeah, I know what
doll,
you're
right?
talking about. Mm-hmm.
So one universal consciousness has created multiple minds. And see, at least from those, there is some separation, right? Uh,
No, because each is a function of the other. You're holding the idea that there are separate individuals, but there's only one consciousness, and all minds are appearing to the same awareness within that one consciousness. Like, where did you get your like identity from? You got it from other people.
yeah.
It's a shared mind.
No, when you say other people itself means there's separation.
Yeah,
So
but there
inside
is no
separation,
separation. There is no separation. And you have to see where like the mind is all coming from the same source.
yeah, but
Every mind.
but at least you agree that there's separate waves, right? From a wave point of view, there's another
Yeah,
wave.
yeah. From the wave point of view, there's going to be other waves, but the ocean just knows the ocean. It's all the ocean.
But my
Like
point
when
is, yeah,
we're having a talk, like you think there's an individual talking to an individual. I see consciousness just exchanging information.
okay. That is possible because you know that you are that consciousness. But
Yeah.
see, there are two levels of projection here. One is the physical projection, which I can understand is created by this. It's a projection. I mean, it by itself doesn't have a reality or solidity. Whatever the characteristics of this mug is given by the universal consciousness, right? But my question is, so that is one layer, like that Russian doll, the big doll,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And inside that, there is another layer which thinks, okay, this is a mug, imagination,
Yeah.
right? So this is another world. Inside that one shared world, there is
Hmm.
another world created by this
Yeah.
mind,
The conceptual world.
conceptual world. Okay, see that
Mhm.
is where my struggle is. In this conceptual world, which is like a shadow world of this one shared physical. For all these minds and brains, there's only one physical world, right?
Well, everybody's projecting their own world.
Sorry,
Everybody's projecting their own world. It's coming
right?
through the
But
mind.
is there is one common physical world or not?
It's a projection. It's a projection. Like the world doesn't sit there. It's arising into the moment and receding, like back into the void, and then it's arising again. There's only the now moment.
From the conscious point of view,
Yeah. So the consciousness is recreating the world moment by moment.
from the consciousness point of view, what is this mug?
That doesn't have a name. It's a piece of energy that's arising into the moment and receding, and then it's being reprojected.
Okay, okay.
See, we think that we're here all the time, but you're flashing in and out of existence moment by moment in terms of the consciousness. I think the consciousness is there, unchanging, and then each moment change happens, moment by moment, flash, flash, flash.
Yeah. One of the problem why I struggle to even comprehend or accept or understand is because I'm an IT guy. Like to take care of 100 servers, like you need like five people and working 24 by 7, and you have to spend millions of dollars for those servers and all those things, right? So
Mm.
to take care of 100 servers 24 by 7 to be highly available, companies spend $1 million. And to run this universe, every single atom, every single
Yeah,
behavior, how much computer is going to take?
and you're the one that's running it all. You're
Yeah.
the substratum of everything upon which everything is appearing.
See, this at least I can little bit accept because when I go to bed, when I'm sleeping, when dream comes, a
Mhm.
universe is created. There could be
Yeah,
solar systems, whatever hell, like humongous amount. But I'm just
yeah,
sleeping. I mean,
yeah.
I'm just one individual.
And then also when you go into deep sleep, the world disappears. There is no world.
Yeah, yeah.
You're just there as the consciousness. That's what people like tend to forget. Like, where do I go when the world disappears? You don't go anywhere. You're actually there as yourself, as the consciousness.
Sorry, when you say when the world disappears, like when I
in
die,
in deep sleep. When you go to
yeah, the
sleep
world
and
disappear. Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that dream world disappears.
yeah, the dream world disappears, and you're just in deep sleep where there's no
Dream world.
yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah. So the
You're
point
not
is,
there. You're there as the consciousness.
for the dream to be possible or for the dream to happen, that consciousness has to pre-exist.
Yeah, it's actually kind of common sense. It's like for the world to exist, for the dream world to exist, for deep sleep to be there with nothing, there has to be something upon which the dream world and the regular world is coming from. Like it's not there all the time. It's not consistent. There has to be something underlying it that is the consistency upon which the worlds are appearing. Like for truth to be true, it has to be true all the time, as like they
Hmm.
say. So this can't be true because it disappears. How could this be real? How could it disappear in deep sleep? And then what is there in deep sleep that's not here, but it's actually here, but you're just not aware of it?
Right. Uh, William, these dreams are accessible by individual minds, right?
They're projections. Yeah.
So the mind projects them
Mm-hmm.
and the consciousness also sees them,
Well, the consciousness is like the light that,
even of the dream.
yeah. The dream is no different than this. It's the same exact thing.
Okay, so the universal consciousness creates 8 billion people also, and inside each billion, inside each of these 8 billion people, it also creates this dream, which is like a universe in each of them, and it just has fun. So eh, I even can comp or like accept this universe is creating 8 billion people. Why this universe has to come inside this 8 billion people and create this so-called dreams? I mean, I know I can't ask a purpose, but then why? Can I ask? It's just Leela, just play?
Yeah.
Okay,
How could you come up with an answer as to
I
why?
know. Okay, okay. I know, right? Okay. So this one universal consciousness creates this physical universe, creates this whatever 8 billion people's minds and runs this show and runs their mind also and shows this one, I don't know, something like a potential one common earth. It creates the earth also, mind also. In this physical world, it makes them interact. And then for some time, it makes this mind to sleep also. I mean, go to bed and then creates this dream also, and then dreamless sleep also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's all just doing it by itself. And
Hmm.
then we kind of have the arrogance that we kind of come in and, hey, I'm the one that's making all these decisions. Like I'm the
Not
individual
not
who's
only
doing.
see, at least this is forgivable. There are people who want to conquer the world,
Mm,
and
yeah,
Alexander did at least half of it. Half of known world he did, and then many other kings want to be emperors, right? They want to rule the world. I think every king would have that dream that I want to rule the world.
yeah. That's why they say like the greatest gift that you can give to like mankind is just to quiet your mind, to get rid of all of that noise, and just to allow the universe to be as it is. That's kind of the quietness of the sage, because
Hmm.
they're not adding the comparison. Like Krishnamurti talked a lot about comparison and conflict. Like that's what the identified conceptual mind is adding.
Okay, but William, to whom is this all problem? Only to this imaginary personality, right? For the universe, it doesn't care. Even if Alexander goes and kills million people, Genghis Khan kill million people, Hitler come and he leads that mass, murdering and all. So the
Hmm.
universe doesn't care for killing also.
There's
Then,
a Krishnamurti says it's not that you don't care, it's that you don't mind. Like you can still try to help somebody. It's just whatever's arising within that consciousness. There may be a sage
mm,
like Thich Nhat Hanh was very active. He was
yeah,
very instrumental in like the Vietnam War and trying to stop the war
okay.
and very very active. But he was still like a sage. But then there will be a sage that will be quiet and not be involved in the world whatsoever. You don't know how it's going to manifest. It's going to manifest differently. There's no one there's no one way to be like awake. It's not that way.
Hmm. So for the universe, it is total acceptance. Hmm.
It's just you just know that that's the way that it is. It's not even you don't even have to accept it. Like there's no
There's nobody to even accept because there's no separation.
yeah, it's just the way that it is.
To add one more thing, one of the psychedelic experiences that this world looks like patterns and it is like thousand times more beautiful. Like a wall is not a wall. Like it is like colorful, psychedelic, very bright patterns, right?
Okay.
So maybe for the universe, like I'm not a personality. I'm just a beautiful, moving pattern. And maybe the universal consciousness just looks from that point of view that this is a colorful, beautiful pattern, but the universal consciousness might not know this guy is suffering, this guy is crying. Maybe I should help because okay, it is not separate. It is the like that gold and the golden ornaments. Okay, so there's no separation
Yeah, everything's just moving as one.
as one. Everything is moving as one. That is why the one neither suffers nor wants to change it because there's like nothing called suffering because everything is moving.
Yeah, because the suffering exists within the conceptual mind, the duality
Only, only.
only. Yeah. When there's no mind to be there to judge it, to have an
Yeah,
opinion over it, then it's just whatever is.
is. Yeah, yeah, whatever is. And okay, there is no purpose for actually bringing the mind or making the mind. This is how it is happening. But there's a friction in the mind, and one of are the only solution for the mind to come out of friction is to know that it is actually that one universal consciousness.
Yeah, then you're going to look at the rest of the consciousness with that love that we talked
Hmm.
about at the beginning, because you see yourself as all of it. You're not going to want to conquer, like, what is there to conquer? It's all you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's the mind that's adding the distortion, like
Hmm.
concepts are the distortion that's creating all these difficulties and all this suffering.
So there's no hell and heaven.
Those are just concepts.
Oh my God. People work so hard to go to heaven.
Now, you
Wow.
also say like hell is like being here as the person, and heaven is being here unidentified as the consciousness because
Hmm.
there's really no suffering. So
But
it's all
no, but
it's the
still
mind.
the yeah. Go ahead.
It's like the religions are like a lot of it's like parables about kind of the existence
Okay.
here.
Hmm. Maybe the religions are created by the devil to keep this idea that you are an individual, so do this, do this.
It's all the, like you said,
That's
it's
not
all the
devil.
play.
I
It's all
know.
the play. The play. It's all the
Thank you.
ultimate
Mm,
game.
mm.
The game of hide and seek. Can you come and find yourself and
Thank
realize
you.
yourself?
Okay. Okay, William. I mean, shall we continue for another 45 minutes or do we meet in 2 weeks?
Why don't we meet in 2 weeks?
Thank you.
Do
I'll come
you
prepared next
mind
time.
if
Yeah.
my friend like may show up next time?
Anytime.
Or
Anytime. No, no. But
I don't know.
why you have to wait for 2 weeks? If your friend wants to chat, we can chat even before
Okay.
that. Or if you want, we can meet in like next week also.
Okay.
Next
I'll find
Tuesday.
out. I'll
Yeah.
find out from her when
My
what's a good time.
mornings, my evenings, any day.
I
Seven
think
days
she's
a
pretty
week.
good in the mornings because she works like later.
Oh, super. Any
Yes.
morning then. Like even
So
this
like this
time.
type, yeah, this type of time